Internet. There we go. Hello, and welcome to Wine Time Photo Rave.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, that was nice. That was in synchrony. Sweet.
Chorus sounded in.
So, welcome to the original show where we show artists and, well, we show their work and they talk about it and we drink things. Because that's fun. I am Amalama and I'm joined by my partner Dame in crime, Mrs. Livin.
Hello.
Hello.
And that was what you just heard. That was Cynthia.
Sorry.
And
No,
then we
no.
also have
Kid was
Megan
out.
with us.
Hi.
Oh, and we've already got Kadeem and Lauren in the chat. Hey,
Yay!
Lauren. Taking a break. That's sweet. Alright, so let's start with the part what we're drinking. I know last time on the show we had a bit of a discussion or a fight between Pepsi and Coke.
Oh no.
And the one true caffeine soda. So to honor that fight, today I am drinking Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
So totally not giving in to that. Mrs., what are you having?
I am having the one and only Coca-Cola.
So you are taking one side.
I am. I am. Well, that's the only thing they almost sell in Georgia, practically. if they catch you buying a Pepsi, you better run. But yeah, so I'm having a Coke, which is actually like having cake for me because I've been trying to cut back my Coke. So I am very excited that I get to polish this can off today.
Nice. Oh, if anyone ever has wondered what decaffeinated Coke Zero tastes like,
Ugh.
I tried it. It tastes like normal Coke that you leave out in the sun for 2 days.
That's accurate.
That's rough.
It's not very good.
It's not really good, and I just had one glass and I still have the rest of the bottle. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Maybe it does it work as fertilizer?
Does Coke work as a fertilizer?
Maybe
What?
I'm supposed to do something with it. Obviously can't drink it.
Oh, it would probably kill plants, I would think.
Ah, it doesn't even have sugar, so
Right. It has a bunch of, well, actually here the sort of the Diet Cokes are probably worse than what you have in Europe, just because they allow all sorts of stuff to go in to products here. But
That's
yeah,
a
I
good
don't
point.
drink Diet Coke. It's pretty hardcore to me.
it's not even diet. It's zero, so it's not even light. It's like no sugar.
Well, which is weird because like, what's the point?
I don't know what even is in it then. I didn't wanna look.
You're just drinking brown liquid.
Yeah, basically. Tastes like it too.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about me.
And her Coke
I know,
journey.
right? Well, Megan, what are you drinking?
Today I have a sage hard apple cider from Wildcraft Cider Works, which is a local cider house near me. It is delightful. The sage is pretty subtle, which is good because sometimes sage can be quite too much. And it's wild fermented, so it has a little bit of funky flavors with it as well. It's quite delightful.
Oh, it sounds good.
Sounds so good, yeah.
Sounds fancy.
That too, yeah.
It is a little bit. I saw it in the store and saw a little can of it and thought, well, it seems like a nice season for sage.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's local too, so sweet. Well, Cynthia, what are you having?
I am having fresh cold water.
Oh, the good stuff.
Oh, she's drinking the good stuff.
I can't drink alcohol for migraines, so I'm I'm sticking with water, and I do drink Coke. And I just wanted to point out that I saw the other day they had coffee Coke, and I tried it
Yeah.
because I love coffee, and I'm like, I feel like coffee and soda, brown soda, could
Uh-huh.
potentially work together, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Did
It
it? Like, I mean, like, how did it go?
So I did not actually mind the taste. I thought it was okay, but it was way too sweet for me. It was kind of
Oh.
syrupy. Like it felt more like it tasted more syrupy than like a regular Coke.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not finish it. So I gave it to my sister and I think she loved every drop.
So, what would be
Super
the purpose
bad.
of coffee? Does it increase the caffeine?
I don't
Load?
know. I didn't read the box.
Huh.
Well, we had a German company selling coffee Coke.
Mhm.
But it wasn't like original Coke. They and they were really good, but I don't think they make it anymore. But I used to love that. I don't really drink caffeinated soda, but that
Mhm.
one that was really good. It
Huh.
if it tastes more like caramel.
Oh, so you
Ooh,
don't get coffee flavor at all?
No, no, there was no coffee flavor. It was more like a caramel drink.
Oh,
interesting.
weird.
Yeah.
But I,
Yeah,
I
because
haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know if they still make it.
well, it sounds like his recipe was stolen by probably an American company.
Coke.
Yeah, right?
Look, I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying it's a weird coincidence. Let's just put
Well,
it that
I
way.
mean, to be fair, they were stealing the recipe from Coca-Cola, so they were
Oh, okay.
producing off-brand Coke.
Ooh.
So I
So,
think it goes both ways then.
so the Coke agent was like, "Oh, well, we'll just take this back. Thank you very much."
Their spy departments.
Yeah, the spy department at Coke. Oh
Coke
God, I hope
spy.
they're not. We have a Coke place here in Georgia. It's a big deal.
Nice.
Okay.
But yeah, because I don't like coffee. Like I just the flavor of coffee. But if you put
What?
coffee in Coke and it doesn't taste like coffee, it might be interesting to try that.
I mean, I feel like to me it was just really sweet and I couldn't deal with it, but
Hmm.
you
Weird
may
that they
like
would.
it. I love coffee, so I didn't mind.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I guess it would be the cider and Coke if they're doing coffee.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I don't know about that.
we'll get we'll get Megan's drink and
We draw
combine
the
it.
line at that. That's just wrong.
I mean, cider and
Yeah.
coffee probably goes better than cider and Coke.
Oh, that would be so sweet, like sickeningly
Yeah.
sweet.
Right. Definitely diabetes in a can. But yeah, that's yeah, there's some weird stuff. I did see, I don't think they sell it anymore, but there is a Mountain Dew hot, flaming hot Cheeto flavor.
Oh my god, that sounds
Um,
so wrong.
Right. That
was
put out
insane.
for a time. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, my brain just blew up. I was like, I can't even like put that. I was like, okay, we might have gone to a dark place, you know, mixing Cheetos and sodas.
Oh,
Oh.
no thanks.
Now that we've all like uniformly barfed.
Should we start the show? Yeah, you wanted to say. Yeah, we kind of should, right?
Yeah.
All right, I just want to name our other artists who can't be here today, which is Between the Pixels or Lauren, who has to work. So our vibes go out to the poor working soul, Lauren. But she's in Chad, taking a break,
Hi,
and
Lauren.
uh, Rob, who can also not be here. and Time Serve and Nemo. Well, of course we will see their pictures and hear their, well, not hear their words, read their words, probably. That's the right word. Look at me, I'm already failing at talking. It hasn't even started yet.
Are you still traumatized by that Mountain Dew? You want some, right?
Probably, yeah.
What, you want me to ship you some? I'll find some off
All
eBay.
right. Okay. Let's start with the first picture. And our first one is from Nemo, from the game Plague Tale: Innocence. Oh shit!
Okay.
Sorry, I
Sorry.
didn't do that.
Okay, so this was a photo I chose, and I'm going to go ahead and read sort of his thoughts and may paraphrase some of it, and then I'll discuss why I chose this one. Okay, so he this is a Plague's Tale, and he said throughout the game, Emika's always holding her brother's hand, so there's always this connection between the two of them. And he noticed, like in a lot of games, you don't really see characters doing that often, where they're kind of touching each other like that. And so that really touched him. That really moved him. And he said he liked the concept of this of support, and thought this was a perfect image for that. And he said this, he was excited that this was the first game he was excited to shoot a lot of photos of, and so this game seemed, like a good pick. And as far as like trying to find his own style, he says he likes to look at other artists, and he says it's similar to graphic design. You just look at other people's work and then you find your own message, basically. And so the reason why I chose this was, and I haven't played this game, but I loved, and with this particular image, I like that it's vertical, because it's, we don't see that many vertical sort of images, and so it's kind of neat to see that. And I love the color palette, from the blue to the burgundy of the sister's, I guess that's like her robe or her shirt or something, her tunic. And of course the fact that you have this beautiful hand holding sibling connection, which is a an older sibling and a younger one, and there's just this, it's just a perfect support, because that's really about what they're going through in this entire game. And so I just thought it was a very touching photo. Visually, it's just really beautifully done, and I like the fact that it's vertical, and the fact that you do have, like, just from a game perspective, it looks right. You know how sometimes when you have, like, in a game and you have one character touching another character and it looks kind of wonky, or you can't get them to touch. This looks like really natural looking, so it could almost be like a real photo. But that's why I chose it, is I just thought it was like a really nice shot. Has anyone on the call played this game?
I have.
Started it. I didn't finish it.
Oh no.
I haven't played this one.
Cynthia finished it?
More or less, yeah.
More or less.
I got to the end, and then.
Okay, well, how'd you like the parts you played?
I mean, I played basically all of it. I actually really liked the game a lot. It had a really good story, and Amicia is a great older sister to Hugo. That's his name. And this shot really does show their relationship, and how she did protect him throughout as much as she could throughout the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend it if you like dark. It's pretty dark story, if you like that dark atmosphere, the plague era and all that stuff.
I'm just really impressed by those hands. Like, touching or hand holding is one of the hardest animations you can probably do, and this is really good.
Oh yeah, it really is. It looks very natural. Um, and that's I mean, I imagine just like I don't know, I watched some video about how they get characters to open doors,
Mm.
like a really big deal, and and so it makes sense that even like having one character touch another character and having it like work together, those I guess the structure is kind of difficult. So the fact that this game has that throughout it is pretty impressive
Yeah.
to me. Impressive. I can't think of another game that does have characters touch. Like, what about The Last of Us? Does anyone know if there's anything like that with that one during
Not
gameplay, not the scenes?
I don't know, not that I can think of. Again, a game I haven't finished, but um, actually no game I can think of has people touching that much.
Yeah,
Like as an actual feature.
right. Hmm.
Good point.
Yeah, I did play The Pathless, which it's not
Ah,
two
right,
people,
right.
but it has a bird, it has a hawk, and it does have an actual in-game like pet mechanic that is part of the game, which is pretty awesome. But it's not two people, and hands are small and detailed, and getting that right seems like it would be really difficult. Plus, like two different arm movements, and in this game having characters of wildly different heights, so their arms are going to move differently. That I would think that would be extremely difficult.
Right. And the Pathless is kind of illustrated.
It is, so that
Yeah.
really helps it.
It's a nice art style.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, that's again from Nemo. He's also known as Nemo-VP. If you go to his Twitter page, he does Tomb Raider shots, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Control. So you can see a lot of his other work, and his work is really good. I'm impressed with it.
Yeah, I really like his control too.
Yeah, his Control stuff's really beautiful. Okay, next.
Right. So next up we have Megan with an image from Final Fantasy VII, so from the remake, and also a game I haven't played. Well, I've seen or watched the original being played ages ago, but I haven't touched the remake because I think it should be experienced on a PS5 probably, and I just don't have one.
Hmm.
So Megan, tell us what's happening in the scene and what's the
So
support
I will
story.
go ahead and throw out light spoiler warnings for the original and remake if you haven't gotten at least through chapter 13 or so. But light spoilers. If you've played the original, then you're fine. There's nothing that different at this point. So this image takes place. There is a very catastrophic event where part of the city of Midgar is destroyed. And this is an image of Barrett, who's one of the main characters, carrying Wedge, one of the side characters, is saving him and kind of carrying him to safety. It's a very somber moment as he's carrying Wedge right around this time. He also learns that two of his other friends who were involved in a conflict have died. As soon as I knew the theme of support was going to be what we're photographing, I immediately thought of this moment, mostly because Barrett learns about his other two friends' fate. And as he's carrying Wedge to safety, he says, "If we stop now, they'll never let us live it down, so we carry that weight." And I thought that was really appropriate for the theme of support, as well as the fact that Barrett is kind of a symbol of support for the Avalanche group that he's a part of. And the tragedy that has just happened in the city is due to a support pillar falling purposefully, of course, but so there are all these kind of different ideas of support and pillars in this one moment. So that's, I immediately went to kind of this section of the game to see if I could get a shot to work. As you might know, Final Fantasy remakes, photo mode is not great.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Getting the technicalities of getting this shot is maybe even slightly more interesting than the shot itself. Just the gymnastics you have to do to get the photo mode to cooperate. So I don't know if you want me to kind of keep going with that, or
Well,
yeah.
how did you? Because what I've seen from Final Fantasy, from the photo mode, the biggest problem is that you kind of have the focus on the character, but there's so much space above the head. Like, how did you get him to fill the whole image?
So this is actually, I don't think this is edited at all from the
Oh, wow.
original capture. So this is straight off of the PS5. So the catch with the getting this shot is Barrett carries Wedge in a capacity where you have control of his movements for a very brief stretch along a narrow walkway. If you walk too far, it will trigger the next cutscene, and during cutscenes, you don't have any photo or any camera movement in the photo mode. So you just have this itty bitty little walkway where you have to maneuver him, but he is the primary character you're in control of, which means that the spherical center of the photo mode camera will be on him. So that is helpful. But you still have to make sure that like Cloud and Tifa are not looking like photobombing your photo mode shot. I feel like half of the shots that I take in this game are just me using whatever character I'm controlling to literally like walk into the other characters to push them out of frame and hope they don't walk back. So the getting this close to him is because the walkway where he is fairly narrow, and the camera will adjust due to background geometry and elements. So I had to like nudge him into place where there was a light on the side of a building so that the lighting was the way that I wanted it. And that meant when I swiveled the camera around, it actually came closer to him because it got pushed forward by the building with the light. So that way it's not kind of from below him, but from beside him, which I was only really able to do because the walkway is so narrow.
It's impressive. I've seen the photo mode in action, and that's amazing that you can get something like that out of it.
Yeah, it's it's so funny because it is really frustrating trying to do virtual photography in the game, but this is one of my favorite games. And it's almost like I almost really welcome the challenge of it at this point.
Right.
It's almost like a game unto itself of like, can I pause it at the right time and get the camera in the right place? And sometimes you really do have to just rely on the environment around you to like push or force the camera into places that you might not ordinarily get it to go, or getting like weird lighting tricks or places of it. It makes you look at the game a different way when you're trying to find like that would be a good location, or oh, look at that background there, I bet if I turn the contrast up I could get a solid black background. I decided not to do that here. I kind of like the little lights, while they're all artificial lights in the background. I like the little speckles that are kind of almost reminiscent of some stars. I felt like the image would look too vacant without them, so I ended up leaving it.
Very true. Well, it is an extremely powerful image, and it really shows a big story. So what I think, so why I chose it, it works perfectly in black and white. I think because to or due to the light it has, and because of the contrast, like the whole background, apart from those little sprinkles, is basically it vanishes in black. and so does most of the lower bodies of the two people in it. And the only thing that's really caught in light, and you have like a spotlight on it, is Barrett's face, which is also kind of like your focal point, the one you want to look at. And you can still see some light reflected off the clothes and his strong arm and the grenades on the belt. I think it's grenades. So you really know just from the way he looks and from what you can see that it's clearly a war zone or a fighting scene, even if you don't know the story or know what's in the background of it. But your eye always moves back to that spotlight in his face, and that's when it comes to the second greatest thing in the image, and that's his expression. So it's clear dedication in his face. There's just one way, just forward. And usually, if you see someone look out of a picture, or you follow their gaze, or you're just naturally drawn to follow their gaze and kind of leave the image where they're headed with their eyes. But because you kind of hit that black wall on the right, if you follow them to the right eyes, you're kind of pulled back to his face again and to the strong expression. You're kind of bumping around there and back and forth, and you just can't leave, and you linger on that strong expression. So it's a really powerful image.
Oh,
And
thanks. Yeah, I played around with whether or not I was going to keep his arm in the shot, or if I was going to move, kind of adjust the whole camera so that he was on the far left edge of the shot. But I like the kind of the power in the image of his arm being there and kind of showing the strength that he has and having his face more centered. So yeah, it's something I played around with a little bit as I was getting the shot lined up.
it works really well. And what I really liked about it is also your title. What was it? I carry that weight. And you said it's a
Yeah.
quote from the game.
It is, yeah. That's what he says. As it's either I believe it's the cutscene right before, like, so if I just kept walking forward with him, then it would trigger the cutscene where he says that. And yeah, it's just it. I mean, it is one of his iconic lines. I believe he says it in the original as well. Um, so yeah.
I was instantly reminded of that scene, that iconic scene from Lord of the Rings,
Mm,
with Frodo and Sam climbing up Mount Doom. When Sam says, "I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you."
mm,
It's kind of similar that friends taking you all the way and not giving up, even if it gets difficult, even if it's too difficult for you yourself, they will still carry you that last step for the support. So it's really beautiful story.
thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful moment in the game, though very heavy and somber at the same time.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yes, for
Oh,
sure.
Okay. I don't want to cut in on anybody. Um, I've never played this game. I've never played any Final Fantasy game. Please don't hate me. And I've
No,
heard
no,
from
it's fine.
friends who have tried this about the quality of the photo mode and how difficult it is to work. So hearing your explanation actually was it was really inspiring. I I just love it when people can take something that maybe the tools aren't as great as we'd like them to be, but you can figure out ways to work with them. You may not be able to get all the shots that you want, but you can definitely pull it off, and you have to become extra creative. And I just really like seeing that. And then hearing you talk about the like what was actually going on actually kind of brought it to life for me. And I think that's something in the community that it's so easy to maybe scroll past photos of games that you've never played, you don't have that connection with. But sometimes if you stop and look at them, you get a little context behind them, then it's like it they just feel like they come to life. And that's like a phenomenon, I guess it would be, that I actually really like. I like looking around and seeing games I don't know about and just finding shots that kind of still speak to me. And I think this is definitely one of them. And it's beautiful. And the choice of the black and white, like I agree, was I think it made it more powerful. It gave it like just that strong drama to it without it being over the top. I mean, I don't know how to put into words what I'm saying, so please ignore me now. But
Oh, no,
I,
I,
it
I
it's really beautiful.
yeah, I
That's what I
think the
wanted to
black
say.
really nice touch.
Hmm.
And it does add sort of, to me, black and white can be very powerful. It's like a very powerful tool,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
it really brings more out.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Yeah, I promise one day I will submit an image that's not black and white for one of these things.
Oh,
I promise I do color.
if you ask me, you never have to. Like, why is
Well,
there color anyway?
one black and white works. It's her language. She loves it. But it's a good shot. I mean, just composition, everything about it
Mhm.
is a really good one. And then just to hear your struggle makes it even more so.
Right.
This was not one of the harder shots, mostly just because the camera came forward with the environment. It's not nearly as bad. I often joke about how my husband has to listen to me when I'm working on photo mode and hear me like yell from our couch of like, Cloud, the photo mode might revolve around you, but the world does not. Please move.
Well, and I think the other thing too I like about it is you have a light source coming from the front. And one of the challenges I have in games is trying to get that right light source so you have a really nice contrast. You know, this image has that nice contrast.
And it's amazing just how much the light reflects and kind of behaves in the game, considering that the game came out before there was like all the PS5 like ray tracing stuff. So this is like all a little more hand done in the game in order to get the light reflections right. So just like seeing the like shine of the texture on his forehead and like seeing the way that the shadow works with the side of his shirt is really impressive. Really impressive lighting for a game without that built in.
Right. Well, and even his the sort of the arm sleeve with the little bits of, you know, thread that's being raveled off is pretty good too. It's a nice. Okay, well, awesome. That's great. Okay, so you can find Dr. Megan Axer. Her Twitter name is MN Axer. Nope, that's M. Axer. Love it. Oh, my Coke is kicking in. I haven't had sugar for a week. And she's currently playing Final Fantasy V11 remake. Okay, so next.
All right. Next, we have an image of Lauren from The Last of Us 2. And sadly, Lauren just left because she had to go get back to work, so she just missed it.
Oh. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read her statement before I discuss why I chose this. She, with the darker story of The Last of Us Part 2, it's nice to see that Ellie had the support of those she cared about, especially at the beginning. And that reason alone is why she sort of felt like this game would be a perfect place for this theme. And she had this image before she knew the theme, but it seemed to, you know, already speak to her, just sort of the concept spoke to her. And her husband also plays this game, so she knew the story. And this photo was from her first playthrough. And she goes on to say her first shot she took, she loved the way the surrounding area was overgrown and almost otherworldly, but there was the one spot of light shining on the duo as they started their journey. In a game this dark, it's nice to find the moments that are light and happy. And she at first thought the support theme would be like an easy pick, but it started to become more difficult. And so she so then I think she went back to this, and I think she also says that she talked to Cynthia for some support.
Hey.
Too.
That's
and
me.
Cynthia's right here.
Hey.
So her thoughts on taking photos, basically, enjoy the game without focusing on the photos. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
And the world is a lot to take in. And this game has the amazing feature to select chapters you've already completed, which will help you go back for photos later. And I haven't played this game, so I don't know to what extent that flexibility is. She also said Cynthia was a great support sounding board with this issue and gave very
Aw.
similar advice. And she thanks us for picking her photo.
Aw.
It a beautiful photo, and um, just the color alone is just very rich. It's almost like a painting. Like I can see this like almost a Renaissance painting. And then
Right.
I love the light source coming from behind the trees. So it's not in the foreground, it's really in the background, leading your eye on this trail that sort of meanders through the woods. And you know, that's from the photos I've seen from this game. I really feel like the developers thought a lot about how people maneuver through the game, because you can just kind of see that in the compositions of photos that people take. So I think that's really exciting. And just that light that just goes around, and then the dark on the left and the right side is just really nice. It's just a really beautiful photo. And again, I can see this as like a painting almost on the wall without realizing, like, you know, oh yeah, they're going to be killing zombies and hatching them and doing all sorts of stuff. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's sort of the calm before the storm. Because I've seen the zombies from that game, and they scare me. They scare me a lot. But this is just a really beautiful capture. It's a beautiful photo. And go ahead.
It's funny that you said the calm before the storm, because it's the beginning of the game, and it's still a scene I got to. I didn't finish it, but I got to this scene, and it is the calm before the storm. So it is before all the big stuff in the game happens, like when everything is still fine and good. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
I've
funny.
watched it dead to know they always do stuff like that. Like, look, we're having cider on this balcony of a house we're just camping out in. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a horde of 500 zombies coming at you. It's like, wait, I'm sorry, that was like easily 2 minutes ago. So
Yeah, the
they,
zombies are actually the reason I stopped playing it. Like, it's just too hard for me. It, I don't know. I just died all the time, so it was too hard for me.
that's funny. And you're
Oh, that's
playing that now
interesting.
too, Cynthia, aren't you? Or have you?
Um, well, I finished it a while ago, and I use the chapter select a lot as well to go back and just get photos whenever I want. It's a fantastic feature. I wish all games with photo modes came with that.
True.
Now, when you go to the chapter, does it allow you to play that level again, or does it just allow you to be in that world at that time?
You replay it. Each
Oh, okay.
chapter has like subsections too, so you can skip around to the little subsections within them. There's also encounters, so like all of your bigger fights in the game, you can go replay those as well. Makes it
Oh,
easy to get photos without having to replay a whole game if you don't have time. It's
Oh, can you go
fantastic.
back and forth?
You can just have to you have to load your original save sometimes. As like if I pick something from the second chapter two, let's say, anything that's after that, like you'd have to reload the save to get it back. So a little bit of work there,
Right.
but it's not.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
same. The, because that's a problem in Control. You can go to you have a chapter select, but if you choose an earlier chapter, everything that's after that gets deleted, and you have to do it again. So it's
right. You
Do
just
you have the
reload your old
chapter
save.
select right away in the game? Final Fantasy VII Remake has one as well, but it doesn't unlock until you've played the game all the way through the first time. And then you
uh,
can go back and play any chapter that you want from
yeah. I
there.
think that's. I think it's like that.
Honestly, I'm not the expert on this game, and I have a terrible memory, so I want to say it unlocks at the end, but I'm probably wrong. So
oh, well, because yeah, I wish more games did do that. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, because it's nice to actually even play like the big bads over again too. Um, I found I was doing a shot in Odyssey. I got it for the PC, and it was where she has. Well, I'm playing Cassandra, obviously, but she has a choice
That's
to
the
either kill.
only choice.
I know.
There is no other character.
That's right. And so she was at the point where she had a choice to either kill the wolf or let him live. And so when I originally played it on the PlayStation, I was so excited about the game. It wasn't like I was trying to relive it, so I just sort of played right through that part because it's early on. But on the PC, I was like, oh, I'm just going to play this over and over. And what was so fascinating was how different it was at every single reboot. Like, and not just different, like uh, the sky was different, the atmosphere was different, the rain was different. Like it was,
Oh wow.
and I must have played that easily 7 times and just got hundreds of photos from it because I was so shocked at how just weather-wise and where the sun was at and the lighting and everything was so different. With the characters still being the same, but their environment was different. Does that happen if you go back to something like this game? Does the environment change, or is it sort of a similar environment, but you're just keeping with the same map?
It's similar.
Okay, cool.
It's not an open world game, so it's quite linear
Oh,
on the
okay.
way you take it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're basically set up in each area. The weather is going to be what it's going to be for the story type. It's not really going to change much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
I want to say something.
No, oh, absolutely.
This is my friend Lauren's picture, so I have to. I'll keep it quick, I promise.
Oh, please go ahead.
I'm so
You got
sorry
the
to know.
platform. There's only like 4 of us.
Yeah,
I know.
like we have all the time in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
I really love the colors in it, and I like that she kept it a horizontal shot and farther out because I know me, when I got to there, I'm like, vertical, get up and close. I have to do it. Look at that light. I want it to come from the corner. But I actually really like this because to me it feels like a picture that's foreshadowing with like the dark creeping in.
Mhm.
But she's got Dina with her and everything's fine right now because they have the support of each other and that light shining on them and it's keeping like that darkness away. As we all know who's played the game, the darkness doesn't stay away, but I feel like it's kind of a visual depiction of that. And I really like that.
Yeah, I was really drawn to this for the lighting as well, and kind of that diagonal angle of the lighting coming in and letting the sides and corners be dark. It really pulls you in and gives you that kind of painterly aspect with the way that the shadows aren't completely blocking off. You can still tell that there are trees and leaves and grass on the ground, so you can still see some things, but it's just obscures it just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a good choice.
Yeah, and of course the characters. I mean, we're familiar with the characters, and just the two of them on the horse and everything like that is just really very support. It's just a beautiful photo, and it looks like a really good game. I just wish I wasn't creeped out by zombies. But,
I'm with you.
It's a pretty hard
way.
game too.
yeah. I've seen some of the play. Like I think there was something with the hose, and I was like, oh yeah, I would never be able to do that. Like somebody was doing.
Play it with the lights on.
Do what?
I had to play it with the lights on, so I think you can do it too. I did.
I don't blame you. Well, and I mean, I had to stop watching The Walking Dead just because, after I think I watched it for about 4 or 5 years, and I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. So it just turned me off of anything zombie related at this point.
Oh yeah, there's zombie everything.
Yeah, right. And it was just so well done and brutal, and this game looks actually quite beautiful. I wish I wasn't such a chicken about it. But you can find Lauren on Twitter. Her Twitter handle is between D Pixels. aka Lauren. And you can find a lot of Last of Us 2 photos on her feed. So it's definitely worth checking it out. Next.
All right. Next up, we have Time Surf and a picture from Warframe. Again, a game I did not play. It's kind of a theme for this show. I'm I'm feeling it. And Time Surf, he says he likes for his photos to speak for themselves. So he didn't give us a full written statement because he wants the photos to speak the full story, which is also kind of nice. So I'll just say what the image has been talking to me. And first of all, it's just adorable. Like that's just the first word that comes to mind. It's just adorable. And I say I don't play Warframe, so I don't actually know what the relationship is between these two characters, or these two figures. But I imagine that the animal one on the left is sort of a support or a sidekick that you can call or that helps you in fighting or something. So like a trusty companion. And the other one on the right is probably your hero you use for fighting. And what I love especially about the image is the harmony between the two figures. And since they don't really have facial expressions, you can read all of that just from their body language, which is really just impressive. Because we as humans, we are so focused on faces because that's the easiest thing for us to determine and to read. But when you don't have faces, you have to find something else that speaks for it. And I think Mr. Devin can talk a lot about body language, and the body language in this image is just beautiful. And it's even so when I look at that, it's almost you can hear that creature on the left almost purr or slightly growl when the other one is kind of stroking its ear or whatever it is where the ear is supposed to be. You can definitely feel that there's a close relationship between these two, even without having faces or even knowing the game. And a trusty companion or your pet is kind of the best support you could have. Like it's just unconditional support. So it's a really great image for that theme.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that I think what strikes me first about this piece is just the purple and the pink, because my eyes just love that. It's bizarre. As soon as I see purple, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't hear a word. All I see is purple. But it's a really nice photo, and I like the energy of it. It has like that energy with all the sort of stuff in the background, the maybe the little flame dots and stuff, and the circles, and just like you said, the connection between the two characters. That's really nice. Very,
I
very
think the pink was even a second motive because this was entered very early on when our fundraiser was still going, our breast cancer fundraiser. So the pink was for that fundraiser, so Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Oh, oh my God! Yeah, that's another layer. I did not even put that together. Dang.
Yeah, I was really drawn in by the color as well, and the fact that it's almost only pinks and purples.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's still so much with lighting and slight variations that the characters don't get lost in the purple background when they themselves are also slightly purple. So seeing all the different hues of purple in this, I thought was really, really well done.
Right. I was so impressed because usually I don't like pink at all, but this one's just so pretty, and there's a lot of pink in there, like a lot, and you still can clearly make out the different pieces and layers, and it's not just a big pink mush. Still
Right.
distinguished.
Another vote
Yeah.
for the pink and purples. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It is. It's just really Really
And it's
lovely.
just so cute. Like you can see her scratching that head, and it's just like. Don't you see that? It's so cute.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go to Cynthia. Cynthia, have you played this game?
I have not. No, I don't know the characters and what's going on game wise, so I have no experience with that.
Yeah,
Megan, have
it's
you played Warframe?
I have not. This I'm also unfamiliar with, but I do love this photo.
yeah,
Yeah.
very cute. Okay. The You should check out his Twitter feed. The Twitter feed is Time Surf. Right now, he looks like he's working through the game Fallen Order. You can
Oh
see some
yeah, I've seen those works too. Pretty good.
really sweet shots from that game. So yeah, check his feed out. Okay, next.
All right. Next up we have Cynthia with another picture from The Last of Us 2.
Talk
Yes.
about purple.
Oh, it is. And another pet.
Yes.
Okay, Cynthia,
Okay.
if you want, do you want to talk about what you were thinking when you chose this one?
Um, I I don't really know. I
Oh,
was looking through what I had and thinking about games that I could go into and get something with support. And I honestly was not coming up with a lot. And then I came across this and I'm like, but so many games have like a sidekick animal. Like you have, your horse in Ghost of Tsushima, or you have the Raven in Valhalla. And those are just the games that I've played. I'm sure there's plenty more that have little animal pets. And I'm like, but those are great supports. And I chose this one because the dog's name is Alice. And there's a spot in the game where you can, play with her, throw that little, I guess he's a squid toy, little purple squid. And I just really like the idea of taking a small break. You've got your animal companion with you who provides support to you, and you're taking time to spend with them. And you get to pick up the octopus and throw it, and she brings it back. And I just chose this one because the way I framed it was she's looking up at you, and I feel like there shows like a lot of love and trust in her eyes towards you as the character you're playing, and she just wants to play another game before you have to go back out into the scary world again. And it's really a more simple photo. I didn't have like a lot of camera issues or things like Megan described, so it was fairly straightforward, but I chose it, I think, for that.
Well, I chose it for the similar thing. I love these games where your basically your support animal is like next to you,
Hmm.
and that's one of the things I really love about Red Dead or even Assassin's Creed. Having a horse is you it sounds weird, but it's like when you start thinking about the character, that's really the bond they have. I mean, it's you can sit there and say, oh, they meander the world alone, but they actually have, a horse or a pet with them. And I loved this image visually because it's really beautiful. It's lit really well. The color palette's really nice. I like how the little purple squeak toy um, kind of stands out because it's such a huge contrast between the blacks and the browns
Hmm.
and the darker shades. And so I just love the fact of we may have animals as supports, but they also have their own little support toys,
Hmm.
Oh,
right? Hey, I know, right? And I'm
that's
like,
so cute.
so and like having cats, they have little catnip bananas that every so
Oh.
often like rubbing all over them. So it's um and I find it hard to throw that away because I'm like, they like that banana, I'm not gonna take that from them. So, and that's kind of the feeling I got when I saw this. And then his eyes just say so much. um so it's a beautifully rendered dog. Like it's just really gorgeously done. um which says a lot for that game because some animals just look weird in some other games and
Yes,
stuff.
they do.
Yeah, like you're just like, that's a dog. I think the worst thing is like when they try to do a cat and I'm like, that's not what cats look like. No. No. And I'm
I
not
think-
gonna name it ACV. Uh yeah, I'm like, cats aren't that big, and yeah, come
Well,
on. Anyway,
Norwegian cats might be, or
are they
English
that big?
cats. Actually,
they?
Norwegian cats can get that big. I think there's a Norwegian cat race that's like enormous.
There
I
is.
have one of those cats. He is
Do you?
enormous. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Let's see. I mean, he's not super big because he's not purebred for that breed, but yeah, I'd say probably right now around 13 pounds of
Oh
cat,
wow.
and then he's very fluffy, so it makes him look even bigger.
Even
So yeah, he's a big boy.
that's like a walking blanket, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. We have friends who have dogs that are smaller than our cat.
Oh wow. Okay, those are really small dogs too, but it's also a big
Yeah,
cat.
true.
Well, I just thought this was a beautiful photo. It's just gorgeous. And I love the
you.
angles of his legs, like just the movement of the photo and then the contrast of the toy and the dog and the eye. Everything just really worked. So I really liked it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And it's more purple. I love the
It
purple.
is.
So, and you're right. The color contrast between the toy really pops, and then it draws you right into the dog's face, and it's so lovely right there.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Just
I mean, I
oh,
couldn't resist the purple toy, so
yeah. And just those eyes, it just has so much emotion in it too.
Now, how long
Um,
can you take that break and play with the dog? Because you're like, I don't like the game. Just give me that scene. I'm just gonna stick here.
I mean, I threw the toy probably 5 or 6 times. I didn't do it longer than that. It didn't stop me, so I would assume maybe a lot. I guess I'm not the expert in all that good stuff.
Sounds like a challenge.
I mean, maybe one time when I have some free time, I'll go see how many times I could throw the toy.
There's an Easter egg in Fallen Order. Like in the beginning of the game, you have to push a button to open the door, and if you push it 66 times, you actually hear Palpatine on speaker
No.
execute
Oh,
Order
wow.
66.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but you have to push the button 66 times and not
Well, I
move
missed
in
that one.
between. I don't know how people figure that out. Like, you have to be really boring to do that.
That's a lot.
I know,
66.
right?
Wow.
That's funny though.
You can find Cynthia Skywalker on Twitter at CCF_photo mode. It looks like your feed has a lot of Returnal on it and Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Returnal stuff looks amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely check out her feed. Gorgeous stuff. Okay, next.
All right. That's our last picture for the show, and it's from
Aw.
Rob. I can't pronounce your last name. I'm very sorry. I think it's Spanish. I'm not gonna even try because I'm just really bad at it. But he says it's fine to call him Rob. So, Rob. And it's another picture from A Plague Tale Innocence. Again, showing the two siblings, but in a different situation. And Rob sadly can't be here as well, but he wrote something about the picture, and he says, what really motivated me at that moment was the intensity that the two characters convey. I knew that I would like A Plague Tale, but I didn't know that I was going to find characters so well built and how natural they felt. The capture was during the first hours of the game, and I hope I'm not saying too much, but I love how, despite being siblings, Amicia and Hugo, they do not really know each other. They are siblings, but at the same time, they're complete strangers to each other. And despite of that, when the situation demands it, they show the bond of siblings they have, and in that capture at that moment, I think the player can feel it, and that was exactly what I was looking for the theme.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I loved reading that statement because it perfectly explains and sums up why I picked that shot. Because that's what I feel, that sibling bond in it. And I couldn't really remember when that scene was in the story, and that it was just at the beginning, although I must have been there. But it's not even necessary because the image itself tells the full story to know what was going on. And you can see Hugo almost even carelessly sleeping in his sister's arms, who keeps him warm and calm. And at the first glance, it just seems like it gives a very nice appearance of just, oh, it's just two siblings together. What a nice image. But then what breaks that for me is again the facial expression on Amicia's face. So if you look at Amicia, she definitely looks troubled. So almost on the verge of crying, maybe. And for this, for me, this portrays perfectly that she's been through hell or through something really bad. But still, she's there for her brother who needs her in that moment. And basically, it's a similar story to the Final Fantasy image, that real support isn't quid pro quo. It's just unconditionally given if you care for the people you support. And that's what's in that image for me. Even though she's feeling bad and sad, she's still there for her brother who needs her more in that moment.
It's so beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful words.
oh, thank you.
Pretty sweet. You know, just everything you said about the support. It's just beautiful.
It's a
Really
beautiful
was.
image, so it brings out the best of us.
Yeah. No, that's lovely.
And it's really impressive because something that I really disliked in A Plague Tale was the facial expression. Like if you
Oh
just
my
go
goodness.
go through the game on random through the normal gameplay, there's like no facial expressions. I tried portraits so often, and it's just there's nothing happening in their face. So you have to
There
really
isn't.
play with it to get something like that. So that is a job really well done.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Well, and the thing I like about this too is it kind of reminds me, even the palette to The Last of Us,
Mhm.
Lauren shot. You know, it has this the the sister and the brother in the center. You have this sort of green foliage around it. You have a light source that looks like it's kind of coming from behind and a little bit in the front, which is giving it some really nice lighting and contrast. And it's just a really beautiful shot. Like, yeah, just a gorgeous shot. It could be a painting. I could see that as like
Right, right. Again,
yeah.
what I found also rather interesting is what he said um, when we asked if the theme was in his comfort zone or if it pushed him. And he specifically pointed out that our themes have so much freedom that each participant can adjust to the subject, and that it allows one to be creative within your own limits or comfort of your own idea of what you want to represent in the theme. So I found that really interesting and kind of soothing to hear, because although people enjoy our themes and have fun taking part in the photos, we often hear that they're rather difficult, um, and that people enjoy themes more that have more freedom, like just portrait or just landscape or just black and white, and do whatever. Whereas Rob says that exactly the freedom we give in the technique or the angle and stuff you use is what brought him so much joy, because there's just some techniques and styles that he doesn't handle so well, or that he doesn't like, and this way he can still use all of his creativity to represent the feeling he wanted to convey for the theme.
Nice.
So it's not so much torture after all.
Right. Or some people just like torture.
True.
Well, your things make us think.
That's what we're here for. And he also had some tips considering VP, or something that he'd like to share. And he says that the most important thing is to enjoy the game. Start it, and if you like it enough to want to complete it or see what happens to the characters, or explore their world, in the end, wanting to take screenshots will come naturally, and from there it's a matter of finding your own style and enjoying that too.
Oh, nice.
Sweet, isn't it?
Good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we so often forget that it's about the game, first and foremost. Like, it's not about the picture you get or whatever you put out on social media, or I don't know, whatever. It's about the game. Like, you have to like the game and the art in the game to make good pictures. My
Right.
opinion.
No, that's good. I like that.
I don't take good pictures of games I don't like. I don't know. Can
Yeah.
you?
I know I cannot, and it's not been for lack of trying, but I really have to have, for me, I really have to have like some type of connection to it. It had, and the game itself and the characters itself has to speak to me, because I've started games, I'm like, okay, I can do this, and I'm like, yeah, no, I just, no, I can't do it. And it has
Yeah,
nothing
I
to
don't think I could do it
Yeah.
with a game that I didn't enjoy playing. And a lot of times I don't do photo mode, or not very much photo mode on a first playthrough. Often my photo modes are like a second or third playthrough. So
wow.
yeah, if I didn't like the game, I don't think I'd even get to the photo mode.
I don't have time for 2 playthroughs. Or maybe I'm just not good enough. Like, I'm not fast enough in playing, probably.
I don't
I
know.
think
Maybe
we
just
approach
Final
it.
Fantasy VII is so, the photo mode's so difficult that it took like this long. I mean, I had already
Right,
played the
that's
game,
true, yeah.
although I had already played it before they had added the photo mode to the game, so I did. I mean, that really necessitated going back, but I love the game enough that I wanted to. Whereas something like Ghost of Tsushima, because it's so open world and already so big, that I pretty much did as I went. So yeah, I guess it does just sort of depend.
What do you think,
Right.
Cynthia?
I generally have to have a connection as well. I mean, you can go in and get, I feel like, more basic stuff from any game. I think any of us could do that. But if I didn't really enjoy the game, especially if I didn't connect with the characters that are in it, or the surroundings, whatever it is that drew me to it, it is more difficult to, like, even have a desire to photograph, for me at least. Which I need to branch out and do more games right now, but I sometimes get stuck in a game and just shoot that game to death for a while because I love it so much. So doing games that I don't connect with so much is really difficult to get stuff that I'm happy with, that I would want to share with people. Like, I want to share stuff that I feel connected to, that maybe people can get a sense that, oh yeah, she took the shot because she really likes this character, and you can tell by it.
I think you said something really, really important there. That of course we can go into any game and get like beautiful pictures,
Hmm.
that maybe also get a couple of likes or even more likes, but you just don't feel the same just doing beautiful pictures instead of doing great pictures with your heart in it.
Hmm.
For me, that's the
I want
difference.
to
I'd
have some
rather
kind of
do,
meaning.
I'd rather do great pictures with a story than just beautiful.
Definitely. And sometimes there's such a fun experience of getting the shot of what else was happening or what happened right before that caused you to go into photo mode, that it almost becomes its own little story. And if you don't like the game,
Yes,
then those moments don't really come through or stick with you either.
exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. So then we have Rob Regal. You can find his Twitter feed under Rob Regal. And I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. ROBRAGIEL. And you can see his fantastic work. He's playing a multitude of games, so
Mm-hmm.
lots of selection from from his stuff.
All right, that was our last picture, and what's only left is the next theme announcement.
Ooh.
And now we're gonna show you the next theme first, and then we have something to tell about that as well. But I think it's better if we reveal the theme first and then talk about that. So it's gonna be a December theme, and I apologize to our guests today because I think you will not be able to hear the drum roll, but the stream is gonna be able to hear the drum roll. So just imagine there's a drum roll coming.
Okay.
I don't know why I probably pushed the wrong button, but the stream's gonna hear it. All right, and I hear it too. All right.
Oh, new beginnings.
Oh, that
so
was a nice
exciting.
reaction.
Okay. Sorry. Well, no, I was already thinking.
That was pretty. Usually we just get like crickets. It's like there's nothing.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
So that was really sweet. All right. So the theme is new beginnings, and it's gonna run from from today till 31st of December, and we're gonna have a out of schedule show because it's not a Tuesday, it's a Saturday on the 8th January. And I have some sad news for you because that will be our last show.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yes, this is our last theme for Runtime Photo Rev running to date because we've got some things coming up that just won't allow us enough time to keep up the busy work that's Runtime Photo Rev. So, but we didn't want to end with something sad, so that's why we picked like a bright future theme to look to new beginnings and to look to the future.
I will miss you.
Well, we'll still be around, but we're just not
You
going
know
to
what
do
I
the
mean.
show.
I missed the show. I should have said that.
We're just not gonna do anything.
All right. So, if you want to use your last chance, like seriously, your last chance to be on the show, you should submit. There's not
Yes.
going to be another.
Please do. Well, thank you guys for being on the show. It was awesome.
It was so
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks
It
so
was so-
much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Well, you have been great, and thanks for the chat, for being there. I don't know if there's still people in the chat. I think people went back to work. I know Kadeem was here, and Lauren was here while she was on her break. I've seen Mark around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. I hope I didn't forget anyone.
I think
No.
so.
I don't think so. Great. Well, thank you all, and submit, because... Oh, Mark's still there.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, Mark.
All right, so this is, by the way, Mark, that's you too. Like, this is your last chance to be on the show if you want to get back at Adam. He's not gonna do it.
No, you won't.
All right, thank you for being here. It was awesome. Like, you've been just wonderful guests. This was so enjoyable.
Thank you. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thank
thanks so much.
And
you
it was
guys
nice
are
to meet you, Megan.
All right, bye.